Hey, hi everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, hi guys, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Just give me one more minute. We'll start. Okay.
Sure. So I guess Vishal will be starting with from first, right? Most of the people
Right.
have joined newly, right?
Uh, just give me 1 minute. Okay. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, somebody was asking something, right? So I believe we can start the session, right? And let me share my screen, and then we can start the session without any further delay. Let me know if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Is it visible, right? Just give me 1 minute. So today we are going to do the class, right, from the very scratch. I will show the live how we can do the Palo Alto Firewall configuration step by step. Okay, as discussed yesterday. But still, we'll try to refer the yesterday lab as well, where we have seen some kind of a topology and we understand how this firewall can be configured as a layer 2 mode deployment. So we'll continue from there and we'll try to see step by step other concept as well, how the firewall is going to look like and how we can do the the real-time firewall configuration if it is going to require to us. Okay. So let me just quickly log into this firewall and see what is the management type. So 9. So I'll just simply go here. Let me start the recording as well, guys. Just remind me now. I just forgot to start the recording as well. So let me go here and I'll simply log in 192.168.9, not 93, should be 9. So now I'm going to the Palo Alto Firewall. So see guys, this is the firewall for which we done the configuration layer 2. We understand how we can take the management access of the firewall. And after taking the management access, how we can create the layer 2 interface, means how we can propagate the VLAN on the firewall. I believe this firewall is not ready. So that's why it's not able to log in. Yeah, it's still not ready. It's booting up. So whenever you're just on the firewall, you have to wait for 10 to 15 minutes. So it will complete the boot and then we are going to log in it. Okay, so it will boot and then we'll be able to log in it. But let's understand, like we understand yesterday, how the step-by-step configuration is going to be happen and how the VLAN basis traffic is going to be processed by this firewall to this particular source to this particular destination, and how we can create the layer 2 interface configuration on the Palo Alto firewall. Now today what we're going to understand, we'll see that if let's suppose I have the very brand new firewall, right? And if I have to do the configuration, then how my step-by-step configuration is going to be happen. So if I just open any Palo Alto firewall and we'll try to check from the real firewall as well. So let's suppose I'm going to take an example of the 820 firewall. So in this 820 firewall, we have the lot of ports, right? So physically, how step by step all ports are going to be configured, and what is the first step, like day zero step for doing any kind of the firewall configuration? How the power supply is going to happen? How power supply is going to look like? Why this port is going to be used management? We keep hearing in the actual virtual environment, but how physically it is going to be look like? Let's understand. So you can see we have the lot of ports here, and these all ports are going to be used for different purpose. So if you are sitting in the NOC environment, and might be you are just a firewall implementation engineer. And let's say suppose day 0, if we have the very brand new firewall, right? So how you are going to treat those firewall, right? So first thing you have to visualize the model of the firewall. We have the different model of the firewall, which I'll explain in the later stage. Let me show you from the PPT point of view. So if I just go there, let me show you. So we have the PA-220 series of the firewall. We have the PA-820 series of the firewall. We have the 3020 series of the firewall. We have the 5800 series of the firewall. Sorry, 5200 series of firewall. We have 7000 series of the firewall. So we have different firewall. So in regard of the any model of firewall, some common things we always have to take in consideration while we are going to do the any configuration of the firewall. And that is most about day 0 configuration. Means how we can take the console of the firewall, how my console cable is going to look like, how the console cable is going to come from the device and connect to my laptop to do the configuration. And once I have the console connectivity, how I can configure my management interface and how my physically management interface is going to look like and where it is going to be connected. And then how I can do the management level of the configuration of the firewall to take the GUI access of the firewall, right? So first thing, if I want to take the firewall access, the very first step would be the CLI. So basically, I have to take the CLI, that is a command line interface. Another thing is the GUI. So CLI always you are going to take from your console. That is the first choice, day 0. Or might be you can do via the telnet session or might be the SSH session. These are the two options. By using that, you can take the CLI of the firewalls. This is just need to be local connected, means PC going to be required. Any computer locally need to be connected on the firewall via the console cable. Then only it is possible to take an access. But I want to access the remotely. That means my management IP of the firewall should be reachable through my internet cloud or MPLS cloud or might be any other media, whatever I have to remote location. Then only I can able to access of that particular firewall, right? So even how the management interface IP is going to be propagated, how it is going to be advertised, that also we have to understand. And last thing and most important, if I want to take the GUI access of the firewall, then how I have to take the HTTPS connection over my browser. Okay. So let's explore, right, how it is going to be happen and how this step-by-step process is going to be defined in this particular firewall. All right. So I'm going to show you the live firewall, guys, and I'll show you how it is going to connect each and everything about the connectivity point of view. So just give me 1 second. Let me share my another screen and then I'll show you the each and everything. Okay. Just give me here. You guys are able to see my another screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is
Yes.
another computer. This is the window computer. And in this window computer, right, I will show you how my firewall is going to be look like. But how can I show you on this computer? Okay. Okay, let me explain how it is going to happen. Then I'll just connect the console and all, and I'll show you. Let me share from here only. Then only I can do that. No other way around. Hold on. Where is my Zoom? Okay. All right, guys. So let me do one thing. Okay, so you guys are able to see my screen, right? So let me show you guys. Let's suppose I have this firewall. Let me open my camera, then I can show you. So let's suppose you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Everyone. So you can see, guys, this is the live firewall, right? And we have the two firewalls here. And this is the PA PA-820 firewall. Both firewall is up and working. And we have again some kind of the HA port. You guys can see that. We have the management port, both of the firewalls. We have some kind of the fiber ports. You can see these are the fiber ports. By using these fiber ports, we can connect our LAN WAN connectivity. We have some copper ports as well. You can see. So these copper ports can be again used for the LAN and WAN connectivity. And if you see, this is the Palo Alto models we have connected through this particular Palo Alto models branding that has been done in the front panel. And by using this firewall, we have the connectivity from my management switch, the GUI management switch, and also we can extend this firewall connectivity to the WAN level as well. So just now it's offloaded from the rack. So there is no connectivity, only we can do the management level of the connectivity. We'll try to take how the management access is going to happen from this firewall. We have to do the console configuration of this firewall, and we'll see that how this console connectivity is going to be taken on the PC. And then we'll see how it is going to be configured over the management interface IP as well, right? So this is your front panel of the firewall. So if any firewall you are going to take, right, you are going to get similar kind of the firewall. Below the firewall, we have the switch as well, right? And we have some AP as well. Also, it is hosted in nearby. You can see here. So this is my front panel. If I want to take console of this firewall, so you can see the console cable is connected here, right? You can see this is my console cable. Let me show you. So this kind of the cable is known as the console cable. So one end is the RJ45 and another end is connected on my PC. You can see this is the USB type of the cable. And in between PC and the firewall, we have the serial to USB converter. So by using this serial to USB converter, what we are doing, once we plug in the RJ45 cable on this firewall, right, this is going to convert this RJ45 connection into USB, and this USB is going to connect in my PC. This is my PC cable. You can see that. So by doing this all connectivity, you always require the console cable to take the firewall console access. Is it clear to everyone how we can take the console and how the console cable is going to look like? You can see I have upper console and below console. By using these two cables, I can connect my firewall. I can configure my firewall. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So once we done this console cable connectivity, right, we have the upper port is the management port, right? So you can see I have the cables also here. You can see this cable is spare with me. Another cable also is spare with me. This is another cable. You can see. So this cable is going to connect on my management port. This cable is going to connect on my management port. This side is going to plug in here. Another side, let me plug it here. Another side is plug in my switch. You can see the light is start blinking. So we have another switch which is connected over the internet or might be the intranet within the organizations, right? So once I plug in this cable, right? So after plugging this cable, the LED start blinking. So now I have to configure this interface with some IP address. So I need to configure like any IP address which can be routable over the internet or MPLS, so I can access remotely via SSH or via Telnet, or even I want to do the HTTPS, that is also possible. So management port configuration is very important. Whenever you do the Palo Alto Firewall management port configuration, you need to define manual IP address in case of the virtual firewall, right? If you have the physical firewall, in that case, you have the hard-coded IP address 192.168.1.1. So if you want to keep that same IP address as management IP address for just testing purpose or maybe initial configuration, that is fine. But end of the day, you have to replace those IP address as well. So I will show you how this management IP is even going to be look like. Okay. Now we have the HA ports as well. We'll discuss what is the HA port, but you guys can see that by using this HA port, we can do the HA connectivity. So you can see we have the HA port on this upper firewall, and also we have the HA port in the lower firewall. So these two firewall, why HA port is important? Because we have to connect the cable with HA1. You can see upper port is written as the HA1. Below port is written as the HA2. So one port is known as the control connection port. Another port is known as the data connection port, data port, right? So these two ports are very important to form the HA of the firewall. Means high availability. We'll discuss what is a high availability, but you can just think about this port. It's a very important. So if I want to connect the HA1 or HA2, let me show you how it is going to happen. So just give me 1 minute. So I just have to open a cable. Cable is locked. It's a new cable. So simply, this is the one end the cable. So I'll connect the one end the cable in this particular HA1. Same cable need to be plugged in another firewall in the HA1. So it's not like HA1 cable cannot be plugged in the HA2 cable, right? Means HA2 port. So you have to always plug HA1 in the HA1, HA2 in HA2. Light is not blinking currently because the port is not configured. It's a brand new firewall, so there is no port connectivity. So if I have to make the HA2 connectivity again, I have to use another cable, which is not available with me right now. It's available, but it's very long cable. So I can just plug up, I can just use the another cable and I can just connect with this way. So this is going to connect in the HA2 port as well, right? So now we understand how at least HA1 and HA2 going to be configured. We'll do the live session for this all configuration when we study about that active passive and active for the high availability, right? But for timing, you should know about that. Similarly, once we done this all, we have these many ports available, right? So these many ports are basically, you can see these all ports, these are the copper ports. Why it's a copper port? Because it's the RJ45 port. I can just simply put the RJ45 cables. See, I can able to put the cables, but I cannot put the same cable in this particular port. These are the fiber based port. You can see these are the SFP based ports. So I need to put SFP in this. I need to remove the cap and I put the SFP. You can see these are the port the SFP based. So let me put it here. So this is how my port is going to be look like. So we understand about the copper port, how it's going to look like. We understand about the fiber port. There are total one firewall having the 8 fiber ports. We understand about the HA ports. We understand about the management port. We understand about the console port. Now we have some additional ports as well. You can see here. These ports are basically USB port and the again console port, right? So why these ports are very important? USB port can be used to just copy any kind of the information inside of the firewall. Let's suppose you want to copy the license. You want to copy the iOS version, means OS version of the PAN OS version inside of the firewall. Any kind of the file you need to copy, you can just use the USB stick to just copy any data from the USB stick to the firewall. And also the vice versa, if I want to get any logs, any file, anything from firewall to USB, this port is going to help out in that way also, right? So this is a USB port. Both firewall have the USB port. You can see that. Now we have the another console port. This console port is C-type console port or might be the charging cable console port. So the first console port where the cable is connected right now, the below one, you can see the below one, this one I'm talking.
Sir, a question tha.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, if I connected a USB charging cable, so it is working?
Basically, it's not C-type port. Actually, you remember the not charging port is not going to work, but you have to use the there is a console converter, right? For C-type to USB. You have to purchase that converter that is going to work. So one end required your C-type, one another end required to your USB side. So that is going to connect one end from firewall, and then another is the USB. Then it is going to work.
Vishal just and also a point to add. So the C-type, whatever the C-type port we have, okay. So the new laptops that are in like the actual environment, so they are having the C-type port. So from C to C, it will work.
Yes, it will work. Definitely, it will work. If you have the C-type connector, then it is going to work. If not have, then you have to use the converters.
Right.
Saurabh, you got this answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Means brother is saying very new branded laptop is C-type ports and this side of C-type ports. We are connecting to one port is firewall and one one port in firewall, one port in laptop, so directly it is working.
Right, definitely it is going to work.
Okay.
You don't require any converter. So now after this console, we have some LED. I discussed about the LED parts as well. So you can see HA LED is not blinking, alarm is not blinking, and also we have some kind of the power. We have the power, we have the fans, we have the status, we have the temperature, and all are solid green for both of the firewall. If I have any kind of the alarm, right? Let's suppose the firewall having any problem. So it will show in the red color, right? So that means there is some critical alert. Let's suppose temperature is very high. So it is going to show red color. If your HA is going to fail, right? Please mute, guys. Please mute. I'm not able to see who is speaking or not. Please mute. Requesting, please mute. So this is my HA port that is not connected. Alarm, there is no alarm. That's why they are grayed out here. Nothing is showing. But in case I have any kind of problem, that is definitely going to show you how it is going to look like, and it's red, amber, or might be it's the green, solid green you can see right now. So right now everything is fine. If something is mild or minor alarm, then it is going to show in the orange, right, or amber, and you can understand there is some kind of problem in the firewall. Okay. So in front panel, you understand each and everything about the firewall. Any question anyone have about the front panel? Any question?
The SFP modules, will they be any specific, or it has to be like anyone standardized we can use,
Any
like 10
standard can
gig?
be supported. No specific. It
Okay.
support like all type SAP, right? Better we
Okay.
can put the model by datasheet. Even I'll show you which kind of the SAP is going to support for this 820 firewall in datasheet also. Give me some time, okay?
Mhm.
I'll show you.
Okay. Sure.
Sir, एक और
Thank
question
you.
था.
Badao. Go ahead, please.
Sir, this is a physical firewall, so it is mandatory to on AC 24/7.
See, if you talk about the network devices, it's very important to maintain the temperature. Okay, it's very important, guys. If you're not going to maintain temperature, right, so the devices are going to be in hunger state. So cooling is very important for the server, for air conditions. If you're going to run 24/7, if you want to on 24/7, if you want to on for 4 hours, 8 hours, but just for testing, lab, or your study, that is fine. It doesn't require. Okay. Clear, Saurabh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now we have to understand about the back panel, right? So back panel, we have to understand how my power is connected. So let me show you. I'm moving away from mic. So might be my voice is going to be low. Okay, but still I'll try to speak. So let me show you how the back panel is going to look like. So you guys can see that this is the power supply of the firewall, right? This is just power supply of the firewall, and these are different fans we have. These are the below one, the switch power supply, and two upper is the firewall. They have the fan cooling condition here, and you can see the serial number of the firewall here, right? And also you can see these are the two power cable connected, dual power. Even it's a single power supply, but we can connect the dual power supply as well because we have the free slots available here. So you got that? How the power supply is going to look like? Everyone understand that? It's
Yes,
a
sir.
back side of the firewall. There is just power supply is connected. It could be a dual supply and single supplied. In this firewall, we have the single supply, but if I want to add one more module, there is a slot available. I can just purchase, I can just add that also. All right.
Hello. I'm Dinesh, sir. It's a new Petipeg firewall means we check by default DSCP enable or not?
No, we have to configure from us. There is no configuration, brand new firewalls.
Okay.
So there is no configuration. I just switch on the firewall.
Mhm.
We're not going to find any configuration. We have to do all the configuration by the consoles. So if
Okay.
you guys are okay, I can start the console configuration now.
Yes, yes, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So let me share my screen. You guys can see. Let me try to see if I can share my screen now. You guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And you also able to see the mobile screen as well or not?
No, sir. Mobile screen is not visible.
Okay, that's fine. Two things are not possible right now. Okay, so leave it. So now let's understand how my firewall is going to be connected. So let me open here. So Palo Alto Firewall. We'll try to do the console connectivity. Okay, now. So this is the firewall I'll show you right away. I just explain each and everything. This is the firewall. Okay. So as per my explanation, we have to connect the console cable on this particular port. This port is going to connect on the console. Let me close.
If you have a webcam, so it is possible, sir.
Webcam is not there now. That's the only problem. Okay. So this is how my console cable is connected. So right now I connected the console cable and this port, which I showed you in the firewall, and one port is connected in my laptop, same laptop. So what I have to do that I have to go in the putty session of my computer and I have to take the console. So how I can take the console? Anyone know about that? Which port I can use here? I just click on the serial. So I can get the console or I have to do some special thing here.
You have to check
Require.
the device manager. From there, you will be able to find out which console port is it connected to, which COM port is it connected to.
Very nice. So we have to go in device manager. So how can I go in the device manager? Let me show you a step-by-step process so you can understand it. Just go in the search and type the device manager. You are going to find the device manager, right? Once you enter the device manager, you just go in the ports. There is a port section. So you have to go in the port. After going in port, you have to check what is my cable connected on my physical device. So you can see it's showing that USB to serial cable is connected here. And the port is, what is the port? COM port 4. So you have to go in the putty session again. After going in the putty session, you have to go in the serial. And after going in serial, you just have to change the COM port 4 and click open. Let me remove the cable again. And let me connect because the session was expired. So let me check again which COM port it's directed. It's still the 4. So let me go here again, go in the serial. So now it's happening something. So the firewall is on. And if I put here, it is going to look like in this way. If I exit it, it will ask the username and password. So initially when you log into the firewall, it is going to ask the username and password. So if my default firewall is here, so if it is a default firewall, so by default, I have the username. By default, I have the password. That is the admin and admin. Okay. So I simply go here and put the username as an admin. And password also I am going to put as an admin. So see, I'm in the firewall. So if I have the new firewall and I want to do the any management interface related configuration. So what is the default IP address is going to be available for the management interface? Anyone know that in the class? What is the default IP address for the management interface? Because right now I have taken the access.
192.168.1.1.
Right. So this is a default IP address. So what the step we have done, we just take the console access of the firewall by connecting the console cable. And now we have the CLI access from my local PC. Now we have to take the GUI access of this firewall. CLI I have, I can check anything. I want to check so interface, all information. So it is going to show me what all interface I have in the firewall, right? You can see. So these all interface are here. Similarly, if you have the very brand new firewall, so you have to understand what is the step-by-step process to do the Palo Alto firewall initial configuration. So the first thing, you have to power on the firewall. Let me show you the step. Perform the initial configuration of the Palo Alto firewall. You have to do the by default, whenever you're going to purchase the firewall, you have this IP address 192.168.1.1, right? And default username admin and admin, right? For security reason, you must have to change this setting before proceeding anything. So I explain as it is. If I want to do any other configuration after the initial configuration, I have to change my username and password as well. I can keep the username same as admin, but password must be changed. And also at the same time, I need to change my management interface IP address as well. So these two details must be changed. Now, I will install my firewall and connect the power cable. We have done this step, right? All agree? We have done this step, right?
Yes.
Now, second step, gather the required information from your network administration. What is the IP address of the management port? What should be the IP address of the management port in this case? Because we are using the new firewall. This should be this IP address, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agree? And
Right.
subnet mask definitely would be the /24. Default gateway, it would be not there. DNS would not be there. Now we have this all information. Then what we have to do that we have to connect the cable, that is the RJ45 cable on my firewall, one end on which port? Management port, and another end I need to connect on my PC. That is a one way to take an access of the firewall. So you can just think in this way. Let's suppose if I'm going in here, let me open this. Come on. Keyboard is not working for this laptop. Keyboard is not working. How can I put that?
Use a on-screen keyboard, no?
Okay. On the screen, right?
Yeah, on-screen keyboard. Just type and search.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go there. I forgot about it. So let me use that E and 2, right? So let me log in it. So it is not. Let me stop it because I have to write the password as well. So or let me do one thing. Can I connect the external keyboard? No possible. No USB port, right? I have to write it here only. Just give me 1 minute, guys. This laptop I'm not using because it's a Windows, so let me try now again. Okay. Yes. Let me go here. Okay, yes. Okay, done. All right. So let me share my screen again. Am I audible, guys? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see, like what I'm trying to say. So we have this firewall. And if I talk about day 0 firewall, so you can see this firewall need to connect on the PC on the management port, the port I showed you. So management port, we have the RJ45 connectivity, and one end I can connect on my firewall, another end I can connect on my PC, and from that I can take an access of the firewall, right? Make sense? So this is how I can take the connectivity, and by default, this is going to configure the IP address. But in my scenario, what I'm going to do that I'll put my firewall in the network, right? In production network, and I'll try to access via the remotely. So you can see if I just try to go in my CMD and I check the IP config, right? So this is my LAN network. You can see this is my LAN network. So I'll give some IP address from the same network, so I can get the connectivity of my firewall, right, remotely. So let me do that. How it can be happen? So I'll go in again in the console cable, and how can check the what is my management IP address? So you have the command show interface management. If you run this command, you are going to get the IP address, and you can see this is the IP address configured on this particular firewall, right? By default, whenever you're going to purchase the firewall, this IP address is always going to be available on this firewall, right? And this is the one way to check the IP address of the firewall. Another way we have show system info. This is the another command. You can just apply it and you're going to get the IP address which is available on the firewall. So you can see this is the IP address. The output is showing some funny way. No need to worry about, because this, let me try another way. Yeah, so you can see now we have the IP address. This is my IP address. This is my net mask. This is a default gateway. So if I use the same IP address on this management interface, and if I try to get access of this particular firewall, remote access, there is conflict is going to be happen, because my router gateway is also the same IP address, right? So what I'm going to do that, if I want to change the IP address, I simply need to go in the configuration. How I can go that? Let me show you. So I can go in the configuration and I can put the IP address set device system config system type. There is a command. There is two type of the IP assignment. One is the static. So see, it's a static right now. If it is a DSCP, most of the lab case, it is going to be DSCP. So you have to change as the static IP address. So if you have to change the static, so you have to put the static here. If it is a DSCP available here, the assignment, most of the case in the actual virtual firewall case, it is going to be always DSCP. So if you want to do the IP assignment, you have to change the DSCP to static by running this command. This is the first command. If it is available, the DSCP available here. If not, then you can leave it. There is no problem. So we can run this command. There is no harm to running this command. Okay. Now what I have to do that I have to change the IP address. So let me find any free IP address from my LAN. So I'll just ping 123. It's a free. So let me go here and set device config system IP address, and that is going to be 192.168.1.123. And net mask, please mute guys, please mute request. And net mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. And default gateway, it is going to be 192.168.1.1. Ignore the syntax error, right? But it is the whole command, it has been taken, right? It's like some putty error, but the whole command is the same, right? We have defined the first the IP address, right? Then we define the net mask, then the default gateway. So the configuration is still not applied here. So what I have to do that I have to do the commit of the configuration. So once I do the commit, the configuration is going to apply on the firewall. And then from this PC, that this IP must be reachable. If it is reachable, then only I can take the GUI access of the firewall from this PC. If it is not, then if I cannot do that, the GUI access of the firewall. So just wait for a while. We'll check that. So 55% commit has been done. You can see some kind of the error in the putty session. It's a putty issue, not like something firewall doesn't have any issue. It's some buggy behavior showing in the putty session. Probably we have to replace the putty software. Then it is going to start working fine. So now you can see the commit has been successfully completed. So let me try to ping whether my firewall is reachable from here or not. So I'll ping 192.168.1.123 and see I'm able to ping. So now my firewall have the reachability from my LAN network. So once I have the firewall reachability.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Did you apply a subnetting?
No subnetting. It's
so
like
your LAN network is different and also is different.
Yeah, I understand your question. So we are using these all two subnet I have in the LAN, right? One is 192.168.0.0. One is like 1.0, right? both are under /23 subnet. That's why we are reachable, right? The whole are
Are you apply
supernated.
subnetting, na sir?
Yes. It's applied, right.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. Yeah. Actually, we have the two LAN segment and we just merge in the single one in the switch. That's why they are able to reachable. So now if I go here in my PC and simply I just go and do the HTTPS and I just put that 1.123. See, I have the GUI access of the firewall. And how I am able to take the GUI access of the firewall? Via management port. So let me log in it. See, this is my firewall dashboard. And if I just go and log in with the default username and password, I can able to remotely log in my firewall. This time console still I have, right? But still I can log into the firewall remotely. Makes sense? And now you can see I have, this is my interface IP address, management interface IP address. This is my subnet mal. This is my default gateway. This is my firewall MAC address. This is my firewall model. This is my serial number. This is my software version. It's quite old. We'll learn on the latest version, or maybe we have to upgrade it, right? And also you can see that we have some CPU management, data plane connectivity, resource informations, right? And you can see right now I have the two kind of access. One is I'm taking from this IP address as a wave access 192.168.1.24. And you are surprising why this IP is showing here, because it's happening something in background on the router level, the IP translation. So you cannot understand if I explain that, but I'm taking the access from this IP, but it is showing something different IP address. So might be you're confusing why it is happening in this way. So you don't have to worry. It's a normal thing for, this is how our LAN has been set it, right? But if you are going to connect into pure LAN environment, there is no backend translation and all, then it is going to show you the correct IP address only. So here is the web GUI and here we have the CLI as well. But let's suppose I want to do the SSH or telnet of the firewall. Can I do that? SSH or telnet of the firewall? Anyone?
So
Can I do that
at
or
the
no?
moment, I guess enable. So SSH and telnet would, telnet I think we can do, but SSH I have a doubt.
Any other? I configure the management interface. Okay.
तो मैनेजमेंट प्रोफाइल में अप्लाई करना है क्या?
Sorry.
मैनेजमेंट प्रोफाइल में एसएसएच और टेलनेट एनेबल करना है क्या?
That is a good point.
Yes,
And we
required to
have
enable.
understand this concept only. When we define any first you guys tell me, I want to take the SSH and telnet. So which IP is going to be come in a picture? The management interface IP, is it right?
Yes.
Right? Because console doesn't require any IP address. Console requires the console cable. But if I have to do the SSH and telnet, then management interface IP is going to be required. So what is my interface IP address? This is the interface IP address.
123.
Now the question is, does this IP or interface supporting the SSH or telnet or HTTPS?
Sir, management interface doesn't support, but we can change the management interface.
No. First listen, Saurabh. What I make a point. There are three kind of services. One is HTTP, another is HTTPS, SSH, or telnet. Four kind of services you can think about it. So when I did the firewall access GUI, which kind of services I am using here?
HTTP and HTTPS.
So
HTTPS.
by default, management interface supporting these services. That's why I will do that.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Now we have to check whether my telnet is working or SSH is working or not, right? So let me
Yes.
try it. So if I'm going here, let me just put this IP address. And right now what I'm doing? SSH. Okay. And see, the window has been prompt. That
It's
means
enabled.
SSH is enabled. But I haven't done anything, right? On the brand new firewall. And see, I'm able to SSH my firewall. It's not a console. It's a pure SSH connection. If you refresh it here, you see, you find the SSH. Clear? Just now. This is my console. This is my SSH. And this is my GUI. Make sense, guys? Everyone okay? Yes, no,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
कुछ तो बता दो. Everyone understand this concept? So by default, listen carefully. By default, where is the management interface? Which section I can find it? That's also important task. It is never ever going to show in the interface section, management interface. You cannot find the management interface here. You cannot find the management interface here. You cannot find in the loopback. You cannot find the tunnels. So interface level configuration is not going to show about the management interface configuration. If you want to see the management interface configuration, you have to go in device. You have to go in the interface setup. You have to go in the interface, and here is the management interface. And this is the management interface IP address. And once you click that, by default, only HTTPS, SSH, and ping is allowed on the management interface. Clear to everyone? If I want to do telnet, it is not going to work. Let me show you. If I want to do telnet, it is not going to work. So if I go telnet 192.168.1.123, if I will do the telnet, let me put a telnet here. So it is not going to work for me. Connection is not going to be through because telnet service is not enabled. But if I enable the telnet here and I just commit it after enabling the services, now I enable the telnet also and commit it. Then my telnet also start going to work. Let me show you.
Sir, how can I apply through command?
Telnet.
Yes.
I will tell you. Lot of configuration I will do. I'll tell you how we can do
सर
that.
एक और बात अच्छी हो जाएगी, मेरी कम्युनिकेशन थोड़ी अच्छी हो जाएगी.
Sorry.
मैं कह रहा हूँ आपके साथ एक एक ये बैच ले लो तो मेरी कम्युनिकेशन और अच्छी हो जाएगी.
Yes, definitely. Communication is very important. That's why I stopped taking batch in Hindi. You can realize that because people are always like, having a trouble to clear the interview and all. Who are the very good professional, that's not a problem. But if you are the trying to get a good job and all, you should talk in English only because you have to crack the interview in English. Nobody is going to listen in Hindi. So if you are not going to understand everything in English, then how you are going to explain someone else? So that's very important, guys.
बॉस आपने हिंदी में पहले मेरे को पढ़ा चुका है तो इसलिए थोड़ा ही जल्दी समझ में आ रहा है.
कोई बात नहीं ठीक है. So now we have done this configuration, right? And now you can see that telnet services has been enabled on this particular port. So if I go and take the telnet here, so let me go here and let me open new session. And now I'm going in other and I'm putting this time 192.168.1.123. See, my telnet has been enabled. If I can log in here, admin. So now I'm doing the telnet of this firewall. So again, I'm logging in the firewall. So this is how, if I go in dashboard again, you can see another CLI session has been created. So whatever session you are going to create, all sessions are going to show here. Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is how by default, the key to take away, management interface is the only interface. Management interface is the only interface which have by default 3 services has been enabled: ping, SSH, and HTTPS. Telnet even not. So you can ping it here. How you can ping? I show you. Even I want to ping from here. And let me show from the here ping. So if I ping 192.168.1.123, you can see I'm able to ping that. So this is the only interface on which all 3 type of services is enabled.
Sir, I have one question. If I disable the HTTPS or enable only HTTPS, maybe this error will be removed.
This is not an error. This is not a firewall error, right? This is certificate error.
Yes, this is a certification error.
So
I
if
am just asking.
If I enable the HTTP, if I do that HTTP, that is going to be non-secure connection, but this error will not come. Let me show you. So if I just enable the HTTP now, yes. If I do without enable the HTTP, it is not going to work. So let me enable the HTTP. And I'll show you how I can log in the firewall with the HTTP, not HTTPS. Just wait to commit and then we'll see that.
Sir, one more question. Brand new firewall, how many RAMs and how many space in this firewall?
One RU. Let me show you. PA-820 dataset. So you just go in this dataset, open it. which version I want to download. Definitely I will download English. So this has been downloaded. So meanwhile, you can see here. So now the commit has been done, and now we enable the HTTP as well on the firewall. So if I go here now, I just put the IP address, right? 123. Let me use another browser instead of this one. So I'll just put in the IP address 123. Oh, it's redirected to the HTTPS. Let me put HTTP only. So you can see now we are getting a connection non-secure, but it's the HTTP based connection, port 80 connection. So if I log in again the firewall, I can put admin and admin, right? And you can see this is going to be configured. Let me log in. So it's giving the warning, your device has been configured the username and we are trying to access via the non-secure environment. So it's not allowing to access because we are having a default username and password. So this is why it is not allowing to access. Once I'll change the IP address, it is going to access. So you can see we have the another connection here, but it is not allowing to complete the connection because we have the default admin username and password. So I'm not going to change that, but even if you are going to enable the HTTP, it is going to work. But the window is going to look like in this way. Means this is a non-secure connection and you are on risk. So always recommended not use this one. All right. Now let's discuss about the dataset part. How my dataset is going to look like. Meanwhile, anyone have any questions here, guys? Till beginning to till now? Right, means we done discussion about the physical ports, we done discussion about the HA ports, management port, console port. We have taken the console, we take the management, we configure the management IP address, we enable the HTTP, means HTTP and the telnet connection on the management port. We understand what all services by default is going to allow on the management port. Any questions before I can go and explain data set of the 820 firewall? Or we are good?
Not yet.
Okay, that's very nice. So you can see if you have any questions, right? You want to like understand any series of the firewall. Let's suppose it's the 800 series of firewall and they are talking about the 850. It's more or less similar kind of the firewall, not much difference. So you are going to get a lot of information here, and especially what I have to check that about a data set. So you can see 820 and 850. These two capability 800 series of firewall, they are showing that, right? And you can see how many IPsec throughput can be achieved through this 820 series of the firewall. That is 1.4 Gbps. And how many from the 850 series of the firewall? That is 1.8. Session, you can see maximum concurrent session 1,28,000 and it is 1,92,000. New session per second 8,100 and it's a 13,100. These are different. It can all support that virtual wire layer 3 tap mode deployment. It all support, both firewall support the all routing type, means BGP, OSPF, graceful restart, REAP, static routing, policy based forwarding. EHRP not supported because Cisco proprietary earlier, now open at standard. It also support the triple PO, means a point to point protocol over Ethernet. They support the multicast as well, right? And what else? They support the SD-WAN capability as well. So this firewall can be used for the SD-WAN solution as well. You don't have to upgrade that. So you can measure the jitter, loss, latency, like initial path selection based on the policy-based forwarding, dynamic path change. It is also support IPv6 with all kind of deployment. It's also support the IPsec SL VPNs, all type of encryptions. VLANs also support that, right? Aggregation interface support that. NAT all support static, dynamic, source destination NAT, dual NAT, U-turn NAT, everything is going to support it. High availability, it is going to support both mode, active, passive. We'll see what is the high availability. Also, it is going to support the path monitoring, interface monitoring, right? Zero trust provisioning, panorama integration, that all is available. We'll discuss later. Now we have the port type. You can see someone is asking the SFP. So these are the SFP port, 8 port SFP, that is a gig SFP, means you can get maximum connectivity up to 1 gig, okay, for 820. But if I'm going to use the 850, I can take the 10 gig connectivity from 4 ports. So 4 ports are going to be available for 10 gig and 4 ports are going to be available for the 1 gig and 4 ports are going to use it for the Ethernet, fast Ethernet and gigabit Ethernet. 10 gig means 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps and 1000 Mbps. So Ethernet is 10, fast Ethernet is 100 and 1000 is going to be 1 gigabit. So you can see the difference here. So now SAP point of view, only one takeaway from the 820 to 850, the gigabit port capacity. So always you have to refer the IO module if you want to understand what kind of the SAP port I have available in the Palo Alto Firewall. Management port, you can see these are the USB port, ESB port, micro USB console port. You can see this all available. Power supply we have by default one. You can connect dual supply as well. See, one redundant is also available. Consumption they are talking, input voltage and all, safety, MIA, certification, environment. So every information is here available. Saurabh, what was you asking? I forgot your questions. Something you asking, right?
I guess he was asking about RAM and
RAM, he was asking rack. So one RU, this rack is one RU. It must be written here. He was asking about rack. So it must be somewhere in datasheet only. Let me see a dimension. Dimension was there, right? So let me see in dimension. Power maximum. So rack mount. You can see this is a rack mount. One RU. You can see 1 unit. So standard rack, this is going to use this 1 RU. This dimension is going to use both firewall. So I believe this session is useful for everyone, right? So I
Sir,
have done for today.
I have only 2 questions more, but only
Please.
2.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
firstly, I am asking why enterprise company is buying router. Second, could you show me how many updates in physical firewall, like applications?
Means what applications?
You do you send me some knowledge with me? Lots of application in also in firewall.
I'll show you. I understand. We have the application identification special concept, right? In the
No,
Palo
sir.
Alto.
I am not asking a full concept. I am. You are saying in this virtual firewall is a lot very low applications, but if I am see physical firewall, I will show you how many updates in applications in this firewall.
I believe you understand something wrongly. Even I'm using the virtual firewall, I'm using the physical firewall. Both are same power. Okay. First thing, right?
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है, आपने जो मेरे को बताया था कि फिजिकल जो वर्चुअल फायरवॉल है वो अपडेटेड नहीं है अपने पास अभी, ठीक है?
Physical firewall is not updated, right? Yes.
यस, उसमें जो एप्लीकेशन कंट्रोल करते हैं वो कम है. एप्लीकेशन आज के टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा हो
That
चुकी है.
application control is not come. Your software upgradations, right, have some kind of the extra feature. Extra feature means you have some kind of the additional bug fixing capabilities, additional threat intelligence capabilities. I'll discuss you. No need to worry. I'll discuss you. I'll show you
Vishal.
how the firewall is going to upgrade it and how the additional feature is going to be activated after the upgrade. I'll show you. I understand your question, and also I explain how the router is going to look like, how the firewall is going to look like, what are different between these two things.
Sorry to interrupt, Vishal.
Yes.
So the earlier answer you can simplify as the we update our mobile phone, right? So we get some of the new features. So similar to that.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very simplified. So if we are going to upgrade our OS, we are going to get more feature. Like some kind of the additional kind of the new things is going to be added. Same in the Palo Alto as well. Everything is going to be same. Just your OS is going to be upgraded and you're going to get more sophisticated feature.
Right.
So guys, what I can do, sorry to interrupt. We have to close the session, right? Sorry for that. And because I have another meeting, we can take tomorrow first Q&A session and then we can continue. Okay, will it fine for everyone if you don't mind?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Sure,
Just
Vishal.
we have the 1 hour
That will
class. So tomorrow, be ready with the Q&A. We first start with the Q&A. I will take all Q&A. This is my promise, right? And I definitely, if it will take 1 hour, I will take that. And then we can go for the next step. And Saurabh, you also join on the time, okay? I'll take your Q&A all, right?
ओके सर, मेरे कल
Thank
के
you.
क्वेश्चन भी पेंडिंग है सर।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ज्वाइन करो, पूछो यार, मना थोड़ी किया मैंने, ठीक है? See you
Sir,
guys, thank
मैंने
you so
एक
much,
एक
see you
question,
tomorrow,
sir.
bye bye, take care.
हेलो सर।
Yes yes please.
सर जनरली हमारा टाइमिंग क्या है सर?
8 to 9, 8 to 9.
ओके सर, ओके
Yes
सर,
yes,
थैंक्स।
8 to 9, thank you.